here's Konan!
Hey everybody, thank you, and we've got a pretty good show planned for tonight. So when you think about it, we don't actually know all that much about God, and it's hard to find out more about Him because the only place we can learn about Him is the Bible, His Word. And in Exodus 3:14, He gives a full description of Himself in only 2 words, I am. Today, we'll be filling in that blank in an effort to learn more about Him with 4 words that we know God is. Just, merciful, loving, and omnipresent. Alright everybody, let's welcome our first guest, Trayvon!
Hey, Konan.
Hey Trayvon, good to have you on the show. Take a seat.
Thanks for having me.
And no problem, anytime. So, I heard you lost your job recently.
Yeah. Let me tell you about that. So I was at the office and I had all this work to turn into my boss, right? So I was like super nervous. I walked in and I was like, boss, I need more time. And my boss was like, okay, you got it. And I was like, cool, yo. I walked out of the office all happy like and headed down the hallway where I saw my coworker Judy. And I was like, Judy, where's the Miller file? And Judy was like, I ain't got it yet. And I was like, you're fired, yo. Later that day, the boss walks into my office and was like, I heard you fired Judy for being late. You were late too. Now you're fired. And I was like, oh man.
Wow, that was a great story, Trayvon. Do you think God had any part in that?
Oh, definitely. God was showing well-deserved justice. It was almost like the story of the wicked servant, except I didn't go to jail.
I'll say. Ladies and gentlemen, Trayvon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, we have a man who experienced the touch of Jesus firsthand. Give it up for former leper, Jeremiah Footgone.
Wow.
Have you on the show.
Thanks.
Right. So tell us, what was it like living in a leper colony?
Well, it wasn't really fun. So there I was, all sick with leprosy, right? And I see Jesus walking by, and I think to myself, hey, maybe Jesus can heal me. And I was like, Jesus, will you heal me? And he was like, yeah. And then he touched me, and I looked down, and I was like, because my leprosy was gone. I was like, thank you, Jesus. And he was like, you're welcome. I turned to leave, and there was the girl who had watched the whole thing, and she was like, whoa.
Wow, that's quite the story. It must be great to be rid of such a horrible disease.
Yes, and it's all thanks to Jesus. Instead of passing by, he just stopped for me and healed me with his love.
Alright. Well, thank you for being on the show today. Give it up for Mr. Footgone, everybody. Our next guest is a man who had a rather fishy experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonah. So, we've heard that some pretty crazy stuff happened to you. Wanna tell us about it?
Yeah, so like I was on the ship, and it was like really stormy out, right? So like I didn't think it'd get much worse, and then I had to go talk to the crew, and they threw me overboard, and then I didn't think it'd get any worse than that, and then I got swallowed by a huge fish, and I was in there for 3 days and 3 nights, like straight, and like there was no way I could have survived that without God, pretty much, like.
Wow. So, what part do you think God played in that?
I think God played a huge role in that, because like if he wasn't there with me, I probably would have died, and that fish never would have spit me out. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
Alright, well, it's good to have you on the show.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonah.
Thank you.
This concludes all our interviews for tonight's show. From our 4 guests today, we have learned that God is just, merciful, loving, and omnipresent. And although we may never know everything about Him, we will always know what He told us. I am. He is. Nothing exists apart from Him because He is a part of everything. Because He created everything. Thank you and good night.